You may wonder what happens if you receive donations before you are granted your tax-exempt status. Well, if you fill out the application for tax-exempt status within 27 months of the date of your incorporation, the donations are tax deductible retroactively to the date of the incorporation. Now, if it's after the 27 months, then what ends up happening is that the donations are retroactive to the date that you received and filed your application for tax-exempt status. Once that is granted, you will receive a letter of determination, which is something that guard it and put it in a very safe place because you will have to present it and use it. You start to work with vendors making purchases for things. You need to print out Form ST119. And what this form is that you present it to the vendors. And basically what it is, it has your information, it has their information, it has your tax-exempt number. And you have two choices. You can do a blanket tax-exempt because you're going to be working back and forth with this vendor for a long period of time. Or you can just do a single purchase. So it's really up to you, and it just depends on what the relationship to the vendor is. But I suggest that you print a stack of those because you'll probably need them, and especially over time. Once you start taking in donations, they will be designated sometimes for the projects or the programs that you're working on, or just for the general operations. But whenever a donor designates a donation for something in particular, it must be used for that. And when you issue their acknowledgement letter, that it must be written in there what that money was designated for and what it's being used for. And if for some reason that you feel that you want to repurpose it or send it in another direction, you must have permission from the donor himself or herself. Now, by now you have an understanding of your organization, of how it's built. But something that you must think about, and although you've gone and you've done your market research, you've done your funding sources in your community, but now you have to think of sustainability. And what that means is you must make sure that if you do not get grant money, that you have an avenue for your organization to survive. And when you start filling out applications for grants and whatnot, they actually want to know this information. How will you sustain this organization if you don't get the money from us? So that's pretty logical. So sustainability, when I talk about that, you have, you could do GoFundMe, you have other grants, of course. You can do advertisement, you could sell t-shirts. I mean, these are just ideas that I'm throwing out at you, but this is what they want to know. What other avenues are you going to support your organization? You must always monitor your performance. How is the organization doing? Are they delivering what they promised? Are things going smoothly? All of those things come under performance. And then also, you must monitor your impact. How are you impacting the people that you're helping? Some of the best ways to record it, you could always do videos and ask questions. A beautiful thing for us is that we run into students in the community that from day one that we worked with, and they will tell you clearly how we impacted their lives in a very positive way. And there is nothing more enriching or fulfilling to have someone tell you that you made a difference for them. So now you're on the road to make a difference in other people's lives. And I look forward to hearing all about your stories, about how you opened your nonprofit and how you made a difference. And I will go more in depth with other courses that I will offer. For instance, the annual fund. I would like to flesh that out for you. Or even building a board And these are just, random subjects that I'm talking about. But please do not hesitate to ask questions, to reach out to me with comments, concerns. I am open to it, and I also look forward to working with you again. Thank you.